If I asked you to think of the most iconic case in lawsuit history, I bet you go with one of two options. Either Carl Jobst vs. Billy Mitchell, where I was called as a witness in court and they used my fart as evidence, or you will think of the McDonald's lawsuit from many moons ago where a woman successfully sued McDonald's after getting a hot drink spilled on her, which awarded her millions of dollars. That case has been referenced and talked about more than the Naruto vs. Pain fight. Basically, she had a drink that was dangerously hot, fucking matched the power of the sun. They basically served a cup of magma, and it spilt on her and it disfigured her. So she sued them, wanting her medical bills covered for all the medical treatment she went through as a result of it, but Ronald McDonald said, best I can do is one of these. It went to trial. The jury awarded her like $2.7 million in punitive damages, which eventually got knocked down to a little less than that, but she did receive a fat paycheck for all the damage that was caused. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because we just saw a pretty similar song and dance happen with Starbucks, where a man was served some hot tea that spilt on his lap in the drive-thru, disfiguring him, and he has now just been awarded $50 million. We have footage of exactly what happened here, so you can see the Starbucks employees got 3 venti hot teas that they're putting in a carrier right now and about to serve to the customer. But these hot teas have a different destination in mind. They're going straight to Penisville. So Michael grabs the carrier and one of the hot teas fucking ODST shock drops right onto his groin, which has caused third-degree burns and disfigurement to his penis, groin, and inner thighs. Now, I've seen some people make the claim that he did it to himself, like he threw the teas on him, like took a bath in it to try and sue Starbucks for damages. I don't get that sense watching that clip there, because you can see when he brings it into the car, that back one just fucking plops out. I don't get the feeling that there was any intent to disfigure his penis here for the sake of a paycheck. It really seems like when he brought it into the car, and as he was moving to set it into the seat next to him, that one hot tea just said, I'm out. So it fell onto his lap, which then caused him to, accelerate in pain and panic. So I don't think it was on purpose. According to his attorney, he said that Michael's life has been forever changed. No amount of money can undo the permanent, catastrophic harm he suffered. This jury verdict is a critical step in holding Starbucks accountable for flagrant disregard for customer safety and failure to accept responsibility. So the lawsuit was on the grounds that Starbucks was at fault for not properly securing the hot drinks to the carrier, which led to this dick disaster. And he's won. According to CBS, the jurors deliberated for just 40 minutes. They speedran that. They said, fuck you, Starbucks, check this gold split on the verdict. And also, Starbucks initially offered Michael $3 million before it went to trial, even upping it to 30 million clams, which he agreed to, but only under the condition that they apologize, change their policy, and issue a memo to stores telling them to double-check their hot drinks before handing them to customers. Starbucks declined those terms. They said, no sirree, Buster, we will not accept under those stipulations. We'll see you in court. We're coming for what's left of your wiener, as they put on the brass knuckles and look like fucking stooges going into court. It seems like a pretty reasonable request, like, okay, we'll settle this, but I want you to say sorry. And also, maybe change your policy a little bit when it comes to hot drinks, letting your employees know, like, hey, maybe just be super certain that these things are locked in there, fucking strapped in. So that way more people don't spill it on themselves. Like, it doesn't seem like he was asking for the world or anything. It's not like he was asking to have a bronze bust of his face in every Starbucks across the country or anything. He really did just ask for something kind of simple. I don't know what Starbucks had a conniption about, blowing a gasket and saying, nope, now you're getting nothing from us. But it's a decision that cost them an extra $20 million for it. Maybe they just really don't like the idea of apologizing. They cross their arms. No. We won't say sorry. But the more I stew on it, I think what they most likely had an issue with was the policy change of, like, telling the workers more about the drinks and securing them. Maybe they thought that would be costly as, like, a training the employees more, or, like, having to change the carrier that it comes in or something. So they thought that maybe this would give, like, wiggle room for something like that, which could cost them more. I don't really know. It's hard to really get into the mind of a Starbucks higher up, because to do that, I'd have to hit my head against the wall 50 fucking times. Anyway, though, Michael has had to undergo 2 skin grafts to his penis and states that any friction to the area causes pain. I imagine he's not lying about that. getting third-degree burns on your winky, I have no doubt will cause a long, long period of pain from even like very simple things. So I don't think he's making up, how much he's gone through. Getting penile skin grafts, that shit sounds horrifying. Now, admittedly, I don't understand how the $50 million was calculated. He has dysfunction, permanent damage, and psychological damage all stated in this. But how do you put numbers on that, and how does it reach $50 million? I don't really get how it reaches that number. Not that it bothers me, I think it's great that Starbucks is about to pay this guy $50 million. It's just, how do you get there? Because you could come over here right now with a pair of rusty pliers and rip my cock off, and it'd be safe to assume that my winky was never going to squirt out $50 million worth of value. So, I'm admittedly confused how it got to such an astronomical number here, but who gives a fuck? You won't find me shedding tears for $1 billion corporation like Starbucks having to pay this guy $50 million now. Congrats to him. That's a big W for sure. Yeah, he definitely went through something traumatic here, but I'm sure $50 million is going to help moving forward with all of this. Starbucks, though, is planning to appeal the decision. They claim that it has always been committed to the highest safety standards in our stores, saying, "We sympathize with Mr. Garcia, but we disagree with the jury's decision that we were at fault for this incident and believe the damages awarded to be excessive." It is a lot of money in damages, and it's not like the Starbucks employee went out there and fucking slapped it out of his hand like it was a game of Magic the Gathering and they flipped the table on him. It is one of those things where after it was given to the customer, then the drink fell out. But I think you can, and they clearly did, make a convincing argument that more could have been done to ensure that the top of the lid wouldn't fly off and lead to the whole beverage spilling all over him, and that it wouldn't fall out of the carrier if it was secured better. But I think the main reason they want to appeal this and fight back against it isn't even like the money element of it. $50 million, Starbucks higher-ups wipe their ass with that on the daily. They probably wouldn't even notice that as a blip on their radar. But what they don't want is anyone to try and emulate this on purpose. While I don't think this guy did it on purpose, since we have footage, it doesn't seem like he did it intentionally. There definitely would be someone that would see a payday like this and be like, that's the ticket. That's what I'm going to do right there. I'll go sacrifice my dick cheese, spilling this hot coffee on my groin, and I'll sue Starbucks for it. And I think Starbucks just doesn't want that to be like an option. They don't want to leave that door open here if they accept like full responsibility and just roll over for it. At least that's what I think the goal is with Starbucks trying to fight back against it. But then I started thinking, how likely is it that someone would go through all of that like penile skin grafts, permanent dysfunction and damage for a potential lawsuit settlement, a big payday? I think the likelihood's pretty high. Would I do it personally? Depends on my age. If I was guaranteed to win a $50 million lawsuit against Starbucks, if I just put my wiener through a traumatic and permanently disfiguring experience, I would consider it if I was in my 80s. Because right now, I get a lot of mileage out of my cock. But when I'm in my 80s, yeah, we're going to have great memories together and everything, but at that point, I'm just going to be playing with like bubblegum down there. Like, it's not going to be, as prominent. So I feel like I'd be more likely to try something like this for a $50 million payday the later in life I am. Not that anyone was asking me if I'd try this strategy or not, but I just thought about it for a little bit, so I wanted to share the conclusion that I drew for it. So yeah, big congrats to Michael here for the $50 million. I guess we'll see how the appeal process goes, but pretty interesting shit. I just wanted to talk about it a bit. That's it. So yeah. I always thought Billy Mitchell was the king of frivolous lawsuits, but he can't even hold a candle to Russia. You remember a few months ago we were talking about how Russia is suing Google for over $2.5 decillion, which is an unfathomable amount of money. If you added up every single breath every single human being has ever taken since Adam and Eve, it wouldn't even come close to 2.5 decillion, let alone 2.5 decillion doubloons being a reasonable amount of money to ask for. It doesn't exist. It can't exist. I just learned about another lawsuit coming from Russia where a Russian League of Legends streamer has successfully sued Twitch for over $200 Nonillion, so a little less than what Google's on the hook for, all because he received a ban on the platform and was able to make a case in Russian court that is trying to enforce a $200 Nonillion fine on Twitch for the injustice this League of Legends streamer faced, even though in his entire time on Twitch, he himself only made $2,000. So the math checks out, actually. You know, that seems about par for the course. It is so interesting. To help put this number in perspective, just how preposterous it is, there is an estimated 200 sextillion stars in the known universe. So this League of Legends streamer is looking to receive more money than there are stars in the known universe. Good luck. I mean, maybe he'll get some fairy godparents and be able to poof that money into existence, because that's the only way that shit's gonna happen. I was gonna try and find a clever way of tying $200 Nonillion into a subtle, cheeky shoutout, but I couldn't, so I'm gonna do it abruptly. Go to usecheeky.com and use code LUCKY for our St. Patrick's Day sale, where you can get 10% off all of our soap. It's the best soap in the universe. In fact, if you use Cheeky, over 200 Nonillion beings across the universe will say that you look and smell great. You look real clean. So yeah, it's usecheeky.com, and the code is LUCKY for the 10% off. Now to sum up the lore here, he was a League of Legends streamer named Licrit, and he was suspended in 2022 after the invasion of Ukraine, and the US imposed sanctions, and he was banned as a result. His father is also a Russian oligarch who apparently has some pretty close ties to Putin. After being banished to the Shadow Realm and not receiving payments from Twitch as a result of the sanctions, he took it to a Russian court in June and October of 2022, which Twitch called a violation of its terms of service. The first lawsuit was dismissed without prejudice, but the second one, well, the Russian law decided that that one's got some meat on its bones. That one's got some real oomph to it, some pep in its step, and said that it violated his rights by suspending and demonetizing his accounts. So, the Russian court demanded that Twitch restore the account or pay a compounding penalty for non-compliance, basically the naughty boy penalty, where if you don't play ball and bend the knee to the most outrageous of demands, it's going to get worse. And Twitch, since they haven't reinstated the account, is racking up a fine of 100,000 rubles each day the account is not reinstated, and doubling each week without limit, per Twitch's lawsuit, which has reached astronomical levels. That's the exact same John Madden playbook textbook maneuver we saw Russia use against Google. The compounding penalty of 1,000 rubles every day and doubling each week. That's how you've reached these 2.5 Decillion and now $200 Nonillion fines. More money than exists on the planet, no doubt. And this is their go-to, it seems, in Russian court if they're going to penalize a company. It looks like they go for this compounding penalty anime finishing move. This is their Kamehameha. It seems like this is pretty common, and I'm only just now learning about how frequent it is. I kind of want to take a plunge into some other notable court cases in Russia just to see if they do this for everything. Like a baker sold you stale bread, you took him to court, and now he owes you 1,000 rubles every day that you've had to have that stale bread in your intestinal tract, and it doubles each week without limit. Like, I just wonder how often that's used. You know what I mean? Because now we've seen 2 instances of it, and it's just comical. I'm sure Twitch is going to fork over $200 Nonillion any day now. I can already just see the League of Legends streamer doing this with his hands like, we won, we did it, so any day now that money's going to be hitting my piggy bank. Like, yeah, I'm sure Twitch is going to start feeling the pressure of this imaginary money demand very soon. Like, you might as well be suing Twitch for glorbluckles. Like, it's actual nonsense gibberish here, because these numbers are not reasonable at all. It's phony baloney. Like, you can't actually enforce them no matter what. But it's not stopping them from trying, and I really appreciate that chutzpah, because it is fucking amazing. A Twitch lawyer said, because this penalty doubles each week, it purportedly is now larger than all the money in the world, unjustified on any measure, wholly disproportionate to less than the $2,000 in revenue generated by the League of Legends streamer's account while active. But in 2023, the League of Legends streamer filed a Turkish enforcement action to enforce the Russian ruling, serving the action on Amazon's Turkey office, which maintains that the agreements that he signed were with Twitch, not Amazon, making the actions invalid. Twitch and Amazon have been deprived of legal certainty provided by those agreements and subjected to Russian courts' application of Russian laws specifically designed to undermine U.S. sanction, Twitch lawyers wrote. Twitch is now looking to U.S. courts to kind of pump the brakes on this lunacy here. Like, it's a joke. Like, this is just a complete circus of a lawsuit. I don't think there's any reasonable person on the planet that would read this case and be like, nope, League of Legends streamer's 100% in the right here. He is owed $200 million for the suspension. Now, from what I can see, he wasn't suspended due to, like, bad behavior. He didn't do anything naughty. Like, he didn't, you know, bring his sack out on stream and get rambunctious or anything. It truly was the result of those sanctions that went into place that prevented them from being able to send out payments to Russian streamers. And I'm not normally one to defend Twitch, but what the fuck were they supposed to do there? Just ignore the sanctions and get themselves in the legal hot water for it? Just so they could pay this League of Legends streamer his $200 for the year? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know how they were supposed to, like, you know, do that. And as far as the suspension goes, I don't think it was exclusive to just his account. From what I've read from the sanctions, they did that for a lot of Russian streamers. So it doesn't look like they decided just to fuck this guy in the face for no reason. So, yeah, I just had to talk about that. These Russian lawsuits of compounding penalties are fucking incredible. They are so goofy. It's just not real. But it is kind of a fun thought experiment. Let's say Amazon as a whole, not just Twitch specifically, is on the hook here for the $200 million. This League of Legends streamer's got him in the palm of his hands. And he's forcing Amazon to run it down mid for him and actually give him this money eventually. Assuming Amazon makes $1 trillion a year, which they don't. From what I can see, they make about $580 billion a year. So, like, they're halfway there, but it's easier to use $1 trillion. If they make $1 trillion a year, it would take them an entire millennium, 1,000 years, of every dollar they make throughout that millennium going to this debt to even make it to a quadrillion dollars, which is not even a fraction of the total that they owe this League of Legends streamer. It would take them until the universe itself dies of a heat death to even come close to being able to make that amount of money to pay him back. It's just not possible. Unless you have a galaxy brain intellect like me. You see, if I was CEO of Twitch and I was tasked with getting us out of this pickle here, I know exactly the solution. I know exactly what I'd do. I'd say, look, we honor our debts. Friend, we got off onto the wrong foot and we want to make things all square here. And then I'd print a bill that says $200 million on it, and I'd hand him the $200 million bill and say, we're good. Because that's the only fucking way that this could possibly ever end with this demand. Unless, of course, it just gets thrown out, which it doesn't seem like Russian courts are willing to do. So, you just make up a bill that's $200 million and say, Godspeed figuring out what to do with that, I suppose. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's it. See ya. Doesn't matter if you've been living under a rock, I'm sure even Patrick Starr's gotten this news by now. PayPal Honey, a wildly successful browser extension used by millions, turned out to be a big scam, allegedly. Except it's not alleged, it is factually a scam, in my opinion. I think Honey is more of a scam than the shake weight. This shit is foul. And thanks to a multi-year investigation conducted by a YouTuber named Megalag, it has blown the lid wide open on this operation from Honey. And just like my bubble guts after I make the mistake of eating a hot dog at a hockey game, it's bad. So bad, in fact, that it has now led to a class action lawsuit being filed against Honey. Another YouTuber named Legal Eagle just posted this video announcing this class action lawsuit they're filing against them. Now, when you hear the term YouTuber, most of you picture a bumbling imbecile like me. But contrary to popular belief, not every content creator is overdosing on stupid juice. Legal Eagle is a real attorney, not some phony baloney, horse hockey, a title he gave himself from Roblox or anything. And he made this video going over the motivation behind this class action lawsuit, believing that PayPal Honey has caused substantial financial damages to a substantial number of people. Now, this isn't his first rodeo announcing a lawsuit. I believe he's made 2 other videos talking about something that he's suing. This one obviously comes pretty early into the investigation that Megalag has conducted. Keep in mind, that was part 1 of a 3-part series that Megalag is releasing on his multi-year investigation of Honey. And part 1 already had enough foul play to lead to a class action lawsuit. I don't even know how much worse it could get with this rabbit hole. Like, part 2 might just prove PayPal Honey was trying to cast the infinite Tsukiyomi and trap everyone on Earth into a Genjutsu where we just keep fucking giving them affiliate commissions or something. Like, I do not know what else could possibly come out from Honey. Lord help us, part 3 from the investigation might just conclude and prove that PayPal Honey was trying to quantumly inject microchips into our brains or something. It really is, like, it's fascinating just how bad this company is. That one part of a 3-part investigation was enough to lead to a class action lawsuit against them. And it's not a frivolous lawsuit either. There's not really any question of whether or not Honey was engaging in taking affiliate commissions. They openly confirmed with Megalag that, like, they acknowledge that, yes, we will sometimes be the last click and get that affiliate commission. They openly say that. So that's not even what's called into question. It's more so now, is it fully illegal? And in my moron eyes, like my idiot vision, I think it has to be, right? Like, I talked about it a bit on stream last night. I'll show you some clips there. But I think it is the textbook definition of cookie stuffing, which does have a legal precedent set that it's wire fraud. Now, I think there's been a little confusion on exactly how big of a scam this is, so I'm going to try and break it down into even simpler terms. A lot of people are under the impression that the only people affected are those that promoted Honey. Like, who cares about influencers that lost money, through commissions and stuff? That's not the actual scope of it. Even setting aside the blatant false advertising where Honey claims it gets you the best coupons available, which is proven to be untrue. In fact, they hide the best coupons from you because they work with the companies directly to give you what coupons they want you to have access to. So they'll give you like a 5% coupon even though you could find a 20% one on your own. Honey tells you that doesn't exist, there's only this 5%. Setting that aside, which directly hurts the people that use Honey, setting that aside, the affiliate theft, what I believe to be cookie stuffing, it comes from people no matter what their familiarity is with Honey. So let's say your grandmother, this is the example I've been giving on stream to try and help explain it. Let's say your grandmother on Facebook, she has an affiliate link to baking supplies, Tupperware. She has an affiliate link for Tupperware, and she shares that on her Facebook page, and you, being the good grandson you are, want to support her and give her a little commission, and you could use the Tupperware. So you click her affiliate link, you go to the Tupperware, as you're checking out, Honey pops up and says, do you want to check for coupons? And you click, sure, I might as well. So you click that, it finds no coupons, you close it, and then you finish your checkout. Well, what happened is, when you click that from Honey, Honey took the affiliate commission. So your grandmother got nothing, and she'll never even know you clicked that affiliate link. Honey got the whole thing, because Honey is a brand partner of that Tupperware, not the grandmother with the affiliate link. Thus, when Honey poached the affiliate commission, they got all of the money, not your grandmother, even though it was your grandmother's link that brought the sale to the Tupperware. But that company will never know that it was the grandmother's link that did it. They will just see that it was Honey that got the last click. Thus, they have to pay out the commission to Honey. That's what's going on. Your grandmother had never heard of Honey. She never promoted Honey, but you had it because maybe your favorite YouTuber talked about it, or maybe you just happen to see all the advertisements elsewhere for it. That's the actual spaghetti and meatballs of it. It's not just people that promoted the Honey, getting butt fucked or anything. It's anyone that has Honey and then tries to click an affiliate link. Honey will take it, even if that affiliate link came from someone that knows nothing about Honey. And another good thing that was pointed out in Megalag's video, even when Honey provides no value at all, where you're in checkout and Honey says, hey, just popping up to let you know, didn't find anything. Like, even if you don't click anything, it just pops up and says, hey, I'm here, I got nothing for you. And you click, to exit out, you click got it to get rid of it. You clicking got it, even though it came up and said,
hey, we didn't find anything, we're not even trying to find it, there's nothing here for us, even though it did actually nothing, you just click and got it, will take the affiliate commission. And the person who had the affiliate link will never know that that even happened. Another big question is, well, how did people not know they were missing out on money? How did they not know they weren't getting paid? That's how, because you never even knew it was happening, because someone just having honey took the whole commission, so you never saw any of it. I think for a lot of people there was a misunderstanding that people were getting paid by honey, and they didn't understand how people didn't recognize they were just missing payments from honey. Like, how could you possibly ignore that? No, that's not the case. Anyone that had honey installed and engaged in clicking an affiliate link, that commission never made it to whoever the affiliate was. Honey would take it. So the actual affiliate would never even know that it happened, which is why it was impossible to ever even find out. That's what made it so slippery and so sneaky. And that's also why it's nearly impossible to know just how much money was lost this way, and why it's likely into the deep millions upon millions of dollars. Which is why I think this class action lawsuit could be huge. Of course, I'm not a lawyer, I didn't pass the bar, I don't know for sure, but it seems like there is so much money that was likely lost from this because of PayPal Honey stealing the affiliate commissions. Now, the next question a lot of people ask is, did PayPal know? PayPal purchased Honey for $4 billion. You bet your sweet bippy they knew. I've been flip-flopping on this back and forth, but for a $4 billion purchase, I think they would have audited the shit out of that company. I think they would have absolutely known that this was like their bread and butter. Because how else are they making money? Like, really, how else are they making money when you really stop to think about it? Markiplier pinned the tail on the donkey. His gut was absolutely right. Like, PayPal would have had to have known that when they purchased this company. I think it's now just a matter of, did PayPal know that it might be illegal? Did they knowingly spend $4 billion on illegal business practices, which would be mind-boggling if that is the case? If the answer is yes to that question. So I'm very interested to see where this class action goes. But anyway, I want to show you some of the clips from the stream because we dove into their terms of service. Honey actually is so fucking scummy that they snuck some shit into their terms of service, which of course nobody's reading. Everyone knows no one reads the terms of service. Even the law knows no one is actually sitting through and reading through every single fucking term of service for the things they sign up for. But Honey knew that and snuck some shit in there to try and cover their own ass. Like I said after the initial part 1 of the investigation, this is going to be a huge class action. There is unironically millions of dollars that were probably lost along the way for a lot of different people. So I'm very curious to see just how big it gets. I think it's almost billions of dollars lost. I've got to stop the music for that. Okay, it's going to be a lot of money, but billions? Is Honey even worth billions? PayPal paid $4 billion for it. I got to stop the music for this. Did you know Honey's terms of service make it so you can't sue them with a class action? I'm going to look that up myself right now. I don't believe you. But no one ever reads the terms of service. But I imagine Legal Eagle would have before the class action. Let's see. Let's look at the Join Honey Terms of Use. Though I don't think you... Let's just assume it's there for a second. Does that protect you? Would that even actually protect you? I don't think so. Wasn't there a ruling not too long ago that said, like, no one reads the terms of service, so you really can't put in legally binding shit like that? I vaguely recall that being a actual court ruling. This agreement contains 1. An arbitration provision, 2. A waiver of rights to bring a class action lawsuit against us, and 3. A release by you of claims for damage against us that may arise out of your use of the service to the greatest extent permitted by applicable law. By using the service, you agree to these provisions. Their lawyers are good. They've got the Sharingan out. How could they have seen the potential class action coming? They stopped us before we even started. I wonder how far by applicable law goes. There's no way that's going to actually protect them. You can't just say, like, you can't sue us and then do blatantly illegal shit. That's not how that works. Arbitration clause and class action waiver. Important. Please review as this affects your legal rights. In caps lock. Oh man, yeah. This seems like panic. Arbitration. You agree that all disputes between you and us, whether or not such dispute involves a third party with regard to your relationship with us, including without limitation dispute related to this agreement, your use of the service and or rights of privacy and or publicity, will be resolved by binding individual arbitration under the American Arbitration Association's rules for arbitration of consumer-related disputes, and you and we hereby expressly waive trial by jury. Why would you want that? I'm sure the jury would side with you guys. I don't know why it's screaming at me, though. Oh, wait. Here comes a threat of their own. Provided, however, that to the extent that you may have... Provided, however, that to the extent that you have in any manner violated or threatened to violate our intellectual property rights, we may seek injunctive or other appropriate relief in any state or federal court in the state of California. Discovery and rights to appeal in arbitration are generally more limited than in a lawsuit, and other rights that you and we would have in court may not be available in arbitration. Now they're tossing their big meat around. That's interesting. I've heard that too. Someone in Legal Eagle's comments brought up that what Honey did could be considered cookie stuffing, which is a form of wire fraud, and that there's legal precedent for it. I've heard that a couple times. I might as well look at it before hopping onto Rivals to start my Grandmaster climb. So cookie stuffing is legitimately a real term. It is a real thing that they have cracked down on. Deceptive tactic in affiliate marketing. It is considered fraudulent. But what is the legal precedent? Because I think it is the textbook definition of cookie stuffing what Honey was doing. So it's been considered a form of wire fraud, and in 2006, eBay collaborated with the Federal Bureau of Investigation in a sting operation targeting top affiliate marketers. So it looks like in 2006 there was a big case with it. Sean Hogan, eBay's largest affiliate marketer, was found to have engaged in cookie stuffing. His strategy involved modifying his website to load resources from eBay servers, thereby setting affiliate cookies on users' browsers. The technique falsely attributed subsequent eBay purchases to Hogan's site. Despite Hogan making over $28 million through eBay's affiliate commissions, it was determined that Hogan's activities did not contribute any substantial revenue to eBay. In the subsequent legal proceedings, Hogan pleaded guilty to a single wire fraud charge, leading to a 5-month federal prison sentence and a $25,000 fine. Okay, he got off pretty easy. There's another case as well. Also, eBay affiliate marketing, Brian Dunning. Similar tactics with cookie stuffing during 2006 to 2007. So there is a legal precedent set. They don't like it, but it's not harshly punished either. How interesting. Like I said, this should be a slam dunk case. I really think it should be pretty open and shut. They have a ton of money though, so it'll probably get hairy. You should go to law school, you'd be good at it. Brother, I'm a fucking moron. Why would you think I'd be good at that? Google is being sued for $2.5 decillion. That is probably a number you didn't even think existed. That's more than a gazillion dollars. That's more than a more billion dollars. This is an unfathomable number they are being sued for by Russia. To help put it in perspective, here's Decillion compared to others that you've heard before, such as 1,000, million, billion, or even trillion. And you can see trillion's not even halfway there. It doesn't even make a dent. It's estimated that the entire global GDP is 100 trillion, which is 0.0000001% of what Google is being sued for by Russia. To put it in even more simple terms, 2.5 decillion is almost as many pounds as your mother weighs. It is crazy what they are trying to achieve with this lawsuit here. Shooting for the stars doesn't even cover it. You couldn't sell the Earth for $2.5 decillion to aliens. It's not even worth that much. If you took every dollar, every form of currency ever made throughout the history of our species, it wouldn't even come close to 1 decillion. I cannot stress enough just how absurd this number is. Dr. Evil wouldn't even go for this. This is so far into the realm of lunacy that I don't think there's a single made-up villain who would even try this. At this point, it'd be like a fucking Phineas and Ferb character suing for infinity money. The lawsuit is over YouTube banning Russian media networks. They banned a ton of Russian accounts and accounts associated with the Kremlin and all of that. And the fine arises from Google's failure to comply with previous court orders mandating the reinstatement of these Russian media accounts on YouTube. The court warned Google that non-compliance would lead to compounding fines with no ceiling on the amount, starting at 100,000 rubles daily, and the fines doubling every week until the channels are restored. This is what it feels like to play Magic the Gathering with someone doing doubling season token shenanigans. Like, this is just fucking stupid. The fines doubling every week? It's like a RuneScape scam. What the fuck? What incarnation? So, fundamentally, YouTube had banned a lot of Russian media accounts and accounts associated with the Kremlin and all of that. And Google has repeatedly cited sanctions compliance as the justification for suspending content from the channels, including high-profile networks like Tsargrad TV and RIA Fan. They argued that the media entities involved were under U.S. sanctions imposed in response to Russia's geopolitical actions since 2014. So fundamentally, Google is saying, hey, we had to do this because of these issues and these sanctions. Then in 2022, following the invasion of Ukraine, the subsidiary of Google that was operating in the region declared bankruptcy, and Moscow had seized more than 100 million from the entity. According to The Telegraph, Google said Russia handed the assets to sanctioned TV channels including Tsargrad, and that they seized more than 100 million of Google Russia's assets, even though the amount purportedly due under the judgment at the time was less than 12.5 million. So this has just been a back and forth butt fucking for quite some time now between Russia and Google. Now, Google in its latest earnings statement said, "We do not believe these ongoing legal matters will have a material adverse effect." To me, that sounds like they're saying, there's a lot of words here and we're not reading them. They're just going to ignore it. They're not even going to play ball with it for even a second. They're not entertaining the idea of a $2.5 decillion fine. They're just plugging their ears to it. Google has almost entirely ceased operations in Russia already. Like, they've almost fully pulled out from what I can tell. So it seems like they're just going to pretend that, you know, the Tooth Fairy's not real here and just not think about it. So this has been an ongoing battle here between Russia and Google, and this is just the most recent development in the anime. I don't think there's a single world where anyone actually looks at that number and takes it seriously. 2.5 decillion is comically large. There's not even that much sand on the planet. There are 7.5 sextillion grains of sand, and that doesn't even make a dent into 1 decillion. There is nothing on this planet that exists in that quantity, except maybe atoms. I think atoms is like 10 to the power of 50. Now, I can't imagine they're actually stupid enough to think that Google is somehow going to poop this shit out, 2.5 decillion anythings at all. That's impossible. I think this is just like a desperate Hail Mary to get some kind of money from it, like some kind of big fine from all of this. So they're just letting this number be as outrageous as possible. And they are trying to enforce these fines in other regions like South Africa, where they're trying to kind of come at Google from multiple angles, and then Google has been, in response, filing lawsuits to keep everything like localized to Russia. So it's been pretty messy. It has definitely been an interesting journey trying to get caught up on the lore of Google versus Russia. And I just had to dive in with both nuts here because 2.5 decillion, I had never even heard of the word decillion before. I thought that was just a made-up term. And it's not. It's so crazy. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. Of course, I'm just a clueless Neanderthal, so I have no idea if this lawsuit has any real meat behind it, if it holds water at all. I didn't pass the bar, I'm not a lawyer. But from my uneducated perspective, it just sounds so fucking stupid. To be coming at Google for this amount of money over YouTube accounts being banned, I think is ridiculous. It's not like those YouTube accounts were going to generate anywhere near that level of money. Realistically, all of the YouTube accounts put together probably wouldn't have generated anything even close to $100 million, even if they were operational for 100 years. Like, I just don't understand where this number's even coming from. Like, I understand it's like the compounding fines where it doubles every week, but it's just made up, pulled out of their ass arbitrary nonsense. Like, can any YouTuber do that? Like, oh, my YouTube account was unjustly terminated. Google owes me $1,000 per day that it stays down and it's going to double every week. Well, based on what? Why? That's just a classic because I said so moment right there. I just don't see where they're getting this from. Like, why would it be doubling every week? Like, who made that rule? What referee came in there and threw the flag on the play saying that it needs to be doubled every week that they don't comply? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Those accounts were never going to generate anywhere near that level of money for a daily fine that would double every week. That's just, that would never happen. So how the fuck can they possibly expect Google or any like reasonable judge to look at that and be like, oh no, that sounds about right? Again, I'm pretty sure it's just to be like intimidating and scary to settle for some kind of payment out of court, perhaps. But to me, this just doesn't seem to be like a lawsuit with a ton of punch behind it. Like, it really just doesn't seem like they have the strongest case to be coming at them for this amount of money. Now, it's worth mentioning, just like the end of a Marvel movie, it will return. This ticking time bomb hasn't stopped. It's still going, and it is still actively doubling. So it's 2.5 Decillion now, but this might be the cheapest it'll ever be, because in a month from now, a year from now, we may be looking at new numbers that are going to need to be invented to figure out how much Russia is trying to hit Google for. Anyway, though, I just had to talk about it a little bit because it was so crazy, and I was diving into it pretty deep this afternoon. That's really about it. So, yeah. These days, if you apologize online, you're already dead. No one will accept it, and you just get spit and shit on even further. But not today. Today I'm going to be accepting an apology. I know you've probably already fallen out of your seat upon hearing that shocking information, but just hold your horses and let me explain a bit. A couple days ago I posted a video talking about how an officially licensed Bandai One Piece mobile game was using me to promote it. They cropped me out of a video and then dubbed me over saying nice things about the game. It looked like a fucking YouTube poop. It wasn't super convincing or anything, but it had a big budget behind it for its marketing because this ad was running all over Facebook. And I puffed my chest out a little bit, and it's like Luffy says, I want to eat meat. So I wanted to get a little meat from Bandai. I get some juice for the squeeze here for the emotional damage this ad was causing me, because I wasn't saying those things about the game, and it hurt my feelings that they had tried to make it seem like I was. Obviously, I'm just goofing around. I wasn't exactly losing sleep over this whole ordeal. I just thought it was silly. The most insulting thing about it was they didn't even bother to deepfake me or anything cool like that. They just asked one of the interns to start speaking into a walkie-talkie in order to dub me over. So I would have preferred if they put a little more effort into it. Maybe they could even made me like a cyberpunk character or something like fucking awesome. But again, it wasn't a huge deal. I thought it was just, again, a wacky topic. However, I guess it was a big deal to Bandai, because Bandai caught wind of this and internally investigated the situation to get to the bottom of what happened here. They had their whole little Carmen Sandiego episode inside the company, like, who done it? Which one of you fucking assholes ran this ad campaign for our game? Because like I mentioned, the game is One Piece Burning Will, which is an officially published Bandai game. Or so I thought. Bandai got in contact with Matt. As I'm sure all of you know, Matt, Super Spicy Matt, he's been in a lot of videos with me. We work on a lot of stuff together. Matt's basically like my brother, only closer. And they got in contact with Matt to talk about what happened here. And after a discussion on the phone with some of the higher-ups at Bandai, it turns out that this was not one of their ads. In fact, it wasn't even their game. It was using the same name as their game, but it was actually just a bootleg knockoff. So they had absolutely nothing to do with this. Which I guess I should have expected. In the world of mobile games, there's no low they won't sink to. I swear to God, these degenerate, greedy scumbags would dig up their own dead grandmother and turn her corpse into a piñata if it meant they could charge an admission fee to people. Anything for a buck when it comes to mobile games. So what happened is they suckled off the teat of Bandai's game, One Piece Burning Will, and they just stole the name, made their own shitty little flash game out of it, and then ran this campaign all across Facebook. And of course, since One Piece Burning Will is a real game published by a real company, people like me thought that it was the official game, but it's not. And now I know the truth. I have achieved enlightenment. And I already know that the bootleg One Piece team is watching this video shaking their fist angrily. And I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids at Bandai. Also, speaking of Bandai, they were so incredibly sweet. They apologized to us for the inconvenience of this whole situation. They didn't owe us an apology, and they still said sorry anyway. They didn't do anything wrong. They were completely innocent in every aspect of this, and still said they were sorry. How incredibly sweet. Just a bunch of sweethearts over there. You know, maybe the One Piece was actually an apology all along. Because I feel like this was a treasure even better than anything Luffy's gonna find in the anime. It was just extremely nice, so I just want to make a public statement here saying that I will no longer be pursuing any type of legal action against Bandai. But who knows? Maybe I'll redirect that litigation towards this knockoff team that used me without permission, damaging my reputation nearly beyond repair. You know, because this is a shit game. That game is absolute dog shit. I'd never say nice things about it. And how dare you edit me to make it seem like I would. You used me like a fucking fleshlight, and I won't forget it. I'm like a goddamn tortoise. I have memories for 1,000 years worth of anger. And I won't stand for this. I might just take revenge. You'll have a panic attack every time the postman rolls up, wondering if he's just delivering the usual bills and magazines, or if there might be a little lawsuit hiding in there, sneaking around. I might just take your ass to court and fuck it. So, yep. Now, even though I know that the official One Piece Burning Will game is completely innocent in this case, there's one thing I won't budge on, even knowing the truth. And that's my demand of One Piece to officially include me in the manga or the anime. I still think, because of everything I've suffered here, that it's only fair that I just have a small character in the actual narrative. It doesn't have to be a huge role. I don't have to like upstage Luffy and take over as the leader of the Straw Hat Pirates or anything, but just like a single panel where maybe Luffy and the gang's passing a tombstone that says like, "Gone but not forgotten, Greasy D. Charles." Or maybe they're like celebrating a great victory at a bar and they overhear a conversation from one of the normal patrons and they say like, "Hey, did you hear? Old odorous Charles drank a bottle of bleach and died." Like, it doesn't matter. Again, it could be just like a single panel that mentions me. I think that'd be great. And really, I think I'm owed that much. After all of this hubbub here, all this hoopla, like, I mean, come on. Let's have a heart here, guys. But yeah, anyway, what a crazy week. Big thanks to Bandai for being so really cool about this whole situation. They were extremely nice about everything, so thank you for clearing everything up. And yeah, just wanted to give you a little update on this situation and tell you where we're at. That's about it. See ya. I just took a shower because I needed to cleanse myself of sin. I witnessed something extremely dirty and disgusting today. A scummy, popular One Piece mobile game just ran a massive ad campaign using me to promote it without my knowledge. And you would think that they like deep faked me endorsing it or something, which would be kind of cool, but they didn't even deep fake me. They just dubbed over my face saying nice things about the game in a completely different voice and accent and everything. It is outrageously low effort. And it's actually a sanctioned, official, licensed One Piece game published by Bandai.
Luffy is really cool and powerful. His AoE skills can hit all enemies. Generally, as a front row role in the lineup, he has outstanding defense and attack. This is my lineup. I like all the characters. There are Solon and Ace. Ace can make me pass the customs faster in the early stage and fire A damage. It is very easy for him to obtain.
Yeah, like I said, not a whole lot of passion or tender love and care went into this ad campaign. It's just me cropped out and dubbed over poorly. Like, the annoying orange puts more effort into their, like, dubbing and lip-syncing and shit than this. And this is a big ad campaign. They put a lot of money into this. This is running all across Facebook right now. I got so many emails and messages about it, it's unreal. And I was curious, so I logged into my Facebook to see how long it'd take me to see it. Almost instantly. It's fucking everywhere on Facebook. They put a lot of money to get it out there, and this is the ad. Now, I went over it on stream, and I was under the impression that I was initially under the impression that this was some, like, low-budget indie studio student project just doing its best with zero marketing budget. But it turns out it really is an officially licensed game from Bandai and is extremely popular in China. I understand One Piece is all about pirates, but come on, this is too far. You're besmirching my good name. Like, I'm not even a big One Piece fan. I'm like 100 episodes in and I find it to be pretty mediocre. I'm gonna keep watching it until I catch up and finish it, but goddamn, you know, at least wait until I like the show to pretend that I'm a big fan of this fucking mobile game. Like, have some dignity. Is nothing sacred anymore? I'm gonna go ahead and show you some stream clips from when I was going over it with chat, and then I'm gonna go into it a bit more. Hey Charlie, did you know a mobile game company used your face to make an advertisement? Yeah, I saw that today. That was kind of wacky. And show it. Let me see if I can bring it up. It's on Facebook, and I think I need to be logged in for that. What is it? It's like One Piece Burning Cross. Man, no, that's definitely not it. I don't remember what it was. Burning Will. Burning Will. Yeah, this is the one. It's not like a big game or anything. I think the idea was to use me for an ad and hope that it would, like, drum up controversy to get some, like, curious clicks, perhaps. You get paid for it? No, man, obviously not. It wasn't a sanctioned ad. Like I said, I do want to get into, like, those awful mobile game ads where they're, like, they have, like, crazy chaos happening and everything's acted poorly. I'd love to be in those. But that's not one of these, unfortunately. Will you do something about it? Man, no. What the fuck am I going to do about it? Take them to court? They're not even a popular game. They have 6 goddamn reviews on the Android store. I'd be suing them over like jelly beans.
Lineup, he has outstanding defense and attack. This is my lineup. I like all the characters. There are Solon and Ace. Ace can make...
It's pretty convincing.
...faster in the early stage and fire a damage. It is very easy...
I also think it's a nice cherry on top of the shit cake that it's for One Piece. When I'm not really a One Piece fan. It's getting a little better, but I still wouldn't call myself a One Piece fan. I will say it's like extremely low effort. I think they could have found like a much more fitting clip here. Like one where I'm getting excited. Like there's plenty of videos where I'm like pumping my arms, even dancing. They could have had me dancing like I'm dancing because of Luffy in One Piece Burning Cross. Or whatever dog shit this is. I don't know the name. Yeah, not even in a white tee either. They found one of the rare black shirt videos. So obviously I'm pretty upset about this, and the emotional damage has really taken its toll on my mental health as of late. So I demand an apology, not only from Bandai, but from One Piece in general. This whole phony ad campaign with these things I never said being displayed all over Facebook for a game I've never heard of is beyond disgraceful, and I just won't stand for it. So I think what's only fair is the next arc in One Piece is the Apology to Charles arc, where the characters lament the fact that a terrible mobile game based on them had the gall to use me, my innocence, to promote it without my knowledge. And I want Bandai to say they're sorry. There's no reason this has to go to court. We can settle this like gentlemen, come to an accord, you know, make a deal. Maybe I get written into One Piece directly. I could be like a small side character in an episode. Stinky D. Charles. I get like thrown overboard or fucking blasted into oblivion. I don't give a fuck. But this, you know, they went real far with this ad campaign right here, and I needed to talk about it. I don't want anyone to get it twisted. I've never played this game, and I probably never will. The things they're saying with my face on them, it's not me saying them. Those aren't my words. Don't let them fool you. All right? I'm not promoting One Piece burning... Fuck, One Piece, Feel the Burn. What? I cannot remember. One Piece Burning Will. I could not remember this game's name. I'm not promoting it on Facebook, alright? In all honesty, I am extremely curious how this even happened. Usually, this kind of shit happens with projects from really shady, scummy, like, pseudo-companies where they're not, like, real businesses or anything. Like, on TikTok, this is really common. There's already an NFT scam that uses my face and dubs me over promoting their scam. Like, that shit happens all the time. It happens to Mudahar as well. But this is actually a licensed game. So, usually with a project, like an actual project like this, one that generates a lot of money, their marketing is crucial, and there's a big spin on it and a huge emphasis on good marketing materials. So how did something like this even slip through the cracks? And not only did it slip through the cracks, they put a lot of money behind it. Like I said, this is actually all over Facebook. When I don't even go on Facebook, and it only took me like a couple of minutes to encounter this ad. So how? How did this happen? This had to be made by like an intern. This is something anyone could whip up in like 30 seconds, if that. The only thing that'd be remotely time consuming is cropping me out of a video, because I don't use a green screen, so they would have had to like manually do that. But other than that, this is no effort or work whatsoever to promote an actually popular game. At least it's popular by every metric I can find online about it in China. So I don't know how this happened. It's obviously not a mistake or anything, because this clip they're using here isn't exactly some kind of like royalty-free stock clip of me. Like I can't find this anywhere else online. So this is something they did in-house. They made the decision to take me from whatever video they used, I don't even know what video this is from, and use it to promote the game. It's just not something they found in like an assets folder on their hard drive or anything, or off the assets store somewhere. They just made the conscious decision to use me for this. And I don't even get why. Because it's not like they're trying to make it seem like it's me, you know, it's not like they're trying to convince people that I, Charlie, love One Piece Burning Will. You know, it doesn't start with, "What's up, everybody? It's Critical. I love Luffy in One Piece Burning Will. He slaps people's nipples off, and it's fucking awesome. You should download the game." Like, it's nothing like that. They're not trying to make it seem like I, Charlie, like this game. I'm just like a fucking random head here promoting the game. But why? How? This whole thing is just so peculiar. I can't even wrap my head around how something like this not only gets made, but then promoted so excessively. Because that's a decision that has to be made higher up the food chain, I imagine. Like, hey, we're putting marketing dollars behind this. We're going to pump this out across the platforms. Just such a weird situation. But anyway, yeah. I just wanted to talk about it. That's about it. So, yeah. Yeah, Roblox, the multi-billion-dollar company, is suing a YouTuber for $1.6 million. When I first read that headline, I thought to myself, Jesus Christ, they finally went after Jim Wool, the elusive boogeyman of Roblox. But it turns out it has nothing to do with Jim Wool or his evil crime syndicate. This is an absolutely wild story that I just wanted to talk about today. I'm sure all of you have heard of Roblox before, and if you're a parent, then you're probably already having a PTSD episode right now with all the money your kids have stolen from you just to buy Robux with it behind your back. It's a game that is arguably the most popular and most profitable game in the world. And a couple days ago, it was announced that they were suing a YouTuber named Sim, a Roblox YouTuber who has 700,000 subscribers, and the lawsuit has some crazy allegations against him. It looks like we might have to add another name to the Roblox wiki list of the most controversial Roblox players of all time. They have this cool wall of shame where they immortalize all the worst players they've ever experienced. So it's kind of like the FBI's most wanted list, and you've got some real bad actors in here, some fucking DC supervillains like Sonic the Hedgehog XX. They even have an adorable mugshot of the criminal here and a little explanation for how they ended up in the Roblox slammer. And so far the charges in most of these seem pretty trivial in comparison to what Sim is accused of. Like, a lot of these are just like, Sonic the Hedgehog, for example, is accused of copying Weirdo King's game, and that's why he's on the controversial list. But Sim in the lawsuit here, he is accused of a lot of like really awful shit. So now let's really spread these ass cheeks and dive into the meat here. So Sim is being sued for $1.65 million in damages, and they say that he violated their user contract and anti-hacking laws. Now I'd like to clarify a little bit further on this. The way they say he hacked Roblox and violated their terms were he would circumvent being banned by making other accounts or using a VPN to make other accounts in order to continue to play Roblox. And they're calling it hacking in the lawsuit, I think. That's kind of the impression I got. I wouldn't necessarily say that's the traditional definition of hacking, but it is a violation of their user agreement. It just gets a little muddled when they say, like, you know, the anonymous hacker 4chan recently circumvented Roblox's anti-hacking rules by using a VPN and making another account XX Pussy Slang Sonic Hedgehog. You know, I wouldn't necessarily say that's hacking, but yeah, it is a violation of the user contract.
It goes on to say that Rubin0 is the leader of a cyber mob that with malice, fraud, and oppression commits and encourages unlawful acts designed to injure Roblox and its users. Another article expands on that a bit by saying Rubin0 actually had a history of that kind of behavior where he would get his followers to go into the game and sexually harass its user base as well as use racist and homophobic slurs. I guess as a means of like epic trolling Roblox or some shit, I'm not really sure. Obviously I'm not fucking Saul Goodman here. I don't know what's true and what's not with these allegations or what Rubin0 has actually done. I'm unfamiliar with his work, so I don't know any of these things. But I'm assuming they must have some kind of evidence to be tossing around these really huge allegations. And then it goes into what I consider the most weird part of the lawsuit, if these are true. Roblox said it banned Simon for attempting to upload a near-nude photo of himself, images of Adolf Hitler, and a sex game that's forbidden on the kid-focused platform. And then it again talks about his harassment of other users there. I'm sure all of you know this, but Roblox is a game that's mainly played by children, like actual toddlers that are still suckling on their mama's titty milk and watching finger family videos on YouTube. So if that's true, and Rubin0 tried to upload a near-nude photo of himself to that game, that's so fucked up. That's like walking into an elementary school and whipping your cock out and then claiming that it was just a joke. I have no fucking clue what the point of any of that would be. That's not even like a trolling attempt. That's a speedrun attempt at jail time. If he wanted to go to prison that badly, he could have just gone to the station and just asked for it. Uploading a sex game to a kid's platform and an almost naked photo of yourself to a platform that's almost exclusively used by kids? What the fuck are you thinking? If that's all true, that's the dumbest shit I think I've ever read. Now again, I'm not Santa Claus. I don't know who's naughty and nice. I don't know what's real and what's not about this with the allegations. In response to this lawsuit coming to light, Rubin0 has deleted every single one of his tweets except for a single one, which is just a GIF. He did have a tweet before deleting them that he left up shortly where he said he wasn't going to be talking about the case because he wanted to make it as easy as possible on his legal team to handle it, and he thought by talking about it, it would make their job harder. And I think that was a very smart play by him, but by deleting every tweet, it hides everything that they like reference in the lawsuit as well as just a couple other things. It just gets rid of any and all evidence they try and point to in the public eye. Obviously, Roblox being a multi-billion-dollar company has likely already subpoenaed for that information, so they still have it, but from like a spectator sport here, there's no way of going and looking at anything that they're referencing here and seeing if it's accurate, exaggerated, or just outright false. Though I would be absolutely shocked if Roblox was just faking this whole thing just because they didn't like his content. Apparently, Rubin0 had a history of also like criticizing Roblox as a platform. I'm not familiar with Roblox, its controversies, things it does right or wrong. I don't know like any of that shit, but apparently Rubin0 also like brought to light some bad shit in the community that also painted Roblox Corp in a bad light. So some people think that this might be their way of getting revenge against him. I don't know if a multi-billion-dollar company is going to be that petty about things, but let's continue with the lawsuit here. They go a little deeper on what they mean by hacking, where he was using fake accounts and evading bans, and then it talks about what is the most recent thing that prompted this lawsuit. The worst damage allegedly came during the Roblox Developers Conference in October of 2021. In the lead up to the conference, the suit says Simon engaged his followers on Discord, glamorizing the April 3rd, 2018 active shooter and murder at YouTube headquarters in California, and threatening/taunting a copycat act of terrorism at Roblox headquarters, telling his followers to wait until someone does it to Roblox. Then, during the conference, he tweeted that local police were searching for a fictitious, notorious Islamic extremist, and that the extremist had posted a video titled, "Someone blow up Roblox now." Meanwhile, his followers allegedly posted false active shooting threats and claimed to have poisoned the conference drinks. The event was delayed and forced into a temporary lockdown while local police and private security conducted a search to secure the facility, according to the lawsuit. Roblox said it cost $50,000 to investigate and secure RDC after the incident. Simon has since deleted many of his tweets. Obviously, this is the catalyst here. This is what actually prompted Roblox to take legal action against Rubin0. It was this instance and everything else was put in here to kind of show
Simon's character as a way of like showing that he's a bad actor in the Roblox community, I guess. So all of it was just lumped in here after this event to just give a whole picture of the situation, I guess, that Roblox is trying to deal with. Again, with all of his tweets deleted, and I couldn't even find them on archive.org, there's no way for me to look at that and be like, oh, okay, so he actually did those things. I have no way of knowing. Only Roblox and anyone that's familiar with Ruben will know if these claims are accurate or not. If they are, then obviously something was going to come from this. I truly don't know how anyone can think that you can call in a fake terrorist threat and do it publicly on Twitter without any kind of repercussions. I've seen a couple of people on Twitter that have to be addicted to whippets and heroin because they are super dumb. They were arguing that Roblox is too big and thus shouldn't care about one troll calling in a terrorist attack on their developer conference meeting. So I guess that might have been the thought process here, assuming this is all real, that maybe he thought that since they're worth so much money, they're not going to care about him doing this. But I mean, that's super fucking stupid. You should be far more afraid of a multi-billion-dollar company that easily could throw a couple $1 million to lock your ass up for this kind of shit. Because it's a crime. Like, it's a genuine crime to call in a fake terrorist attack like this. I don't know what you could possibly expect. They're not just going to roll over and get used like a fleshlight. They were obviously going to retaliate. You shut down a conference with a terrorist threat. So yeah, just overall an extremely crazy story all around. That's a lot of money. And that's going to be a lot of money to fight the lawsuit. For Roblox, this is nothing. They make millions of dollars every couple of minutes. So they'll probably toss as much money as they need to at this and never feel it. But for Ruben Sim, this is a life-changing lawsuit here. I don't know if all of the claims in here are factual or anything. That all has to be proven in court. But my God, what a fucking wild situation here. That's about it. See ya.